Hi, I'm a Bullis Student Tutor. Today I'll be introducing completing the square to you. Today we're going to look at completing the square. So completing the square is a quick and easy way to solve quadratic equations, and it helps you save time and limit your mistakes, especially when you get more difficult quadratic equations where you can't just look at it and find the factors. And it also is a better comparable than the quadratic formula because the quadratic formula takes too long, and it also since it's so long, people tend to make mistakes when going through the steps. So we're going to look at this example right here first, and then we're going to look at another more difficult example. So if we look at this equation right here, if we just look at the numbers, we can find the factors pretty easily, but we're going to complete the square first, and then we can check it back in this case. So the first step is, when completing the square, you want to look at the first two terms, the x terms, and you're going to find what the perfect square of those would be. So if we're looking at x squared plus 4x, the perfect square would be x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals x plus 2 squared. Right? These two are equal. So since that's the perfect square, we're going to take x squared plus 2x, or x squared, or x plus 2, sorry, and we're going to put it right here. And then we're going to bring down our negative 12. So at this point, these two expressions are not equal because x plus 2 squared is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 4, not x squared plus 4. So to make that equal, we're going to subtract a 4, right? Because if we subtract a 4 over here, these would cancel out, and we have x squared plus 4x. And that is what we have in this expression right here. So by subtracting 4 over here, we make this x plus 2 squared minus 4 is equal to this right here, right? So now we're at this point, and from here on out, it's just algebra. So this is equal to 0. And then negative 12 minus 4 is equal to negative 16. If we add 16 to both sides, we would get x plus 2 squared is equal to 16. And then from here, we would just take the square root equals plus or minus square root 16. That's also equal, since we know the square root of 16 is positive 4, and we'd have negative 4. So we would just continue to solve. X squared, or x plus 2, is equal to 4, and x plus 2 is equal to negative 4. And once we solve these out, we will get that x is equal to negative 6, and x is equal to positive 2. Now, if we're just to look at the factors right here, the factors of 12 would be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Now, if we look at these, only 2 and 6 can be used to make 4. So now we're just checking it back using what we already know. So you put these factors in here. You know it's 2 and 6. So you put those in, and then you need to find where the plus and minus go, since you have negative 12 and plus 4, right? So one of these has to be minus. Well, you know, since 4 is positive, this 6 has to be positive too, because 6 minus 2 is 4. So you get your factors as x minus 2, x plus 6. If you solve those out for 0, you would get the same thing as what we just did. So that's a nice and easy example to start us off. Now we're going to go to a bit more challenging example where we can't just factor it out like we just did when we checked our work. So here you're either forced to complete the square or you have to use the quadratic formula. So if we look at this one right here, obviously like I just said, the only factors of negative 11 are 11 and 1. You can't use those to get positive 6. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to complete the square, which is what we just did. So x squared plus 2. The perfect square of that would be x squared plus 6x. It would be plus 9. Because x plus 9, or x plus 3 squared is equal to this, correct? So we're going to do the same thing as last time. You bring down this x plus 3 squared, bring down your negative 11, but x plus 3 squared is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 9. And in this expression, we have x squared plus 6x. So subtract the 9, subtract this 9. Now x plus 3 squared minus 9 is equal to x squared plus 6x, right? Because we have that right here. That's what that's equal to. So from here on out, it's just algebra once again. X plus 3 squared is equal to, this is equal to 0 right here. Negative 11 minus 9, that's equal to negative 20. And we add 20 to both sides. X plus 3 squared equals 20. We take that square root. X plus 3 is equal to plus or minus square root 20. Now we just solve for x, and x would be equal to negative 3 plus or minus 20. So that would be our final answer. And if you were to use the quadratic formula, you would get the same answer. So that's a quick video tutorial on how to complete the square. You can watch this back, practice the examples, and thank you for watching.